in Chinese means business goose?
I did, because we played together, but
yeah, we play Valorant
I did forget
together.
about it. But here we are, Penguin. Now the random nonsense and shenanigans must stop, because we're in the draft. And TT, they respect Doinby's Viego. That's a pick that should be respected.
Absolutely, you get those resets coming in, you're able to get yourself in such a nice position to be able to affect those side lanes, and historically and up until today, the biggest thing that we see coming out from FPX is they are looking to try and affect those side lanes, specifically with the TN and Doinby combination. But Karma final ban does mean that the side of TT going to pick themselves up the Nocturne to see if they can make anything work with this pick.
I'm really surprised that FPX left this open, because we've just seen how oppressive this pick can be in so many different scenarios. I think earlier I mentioned the Nocturne and Twisted Fate, but another one that just crossed my mind was we saw OMG running continuously was like Nocturne plus Akali, just being that diving backline buddy with her. I like that FPX probably have that very vividly in their memory as well. They say, hey, we're not going to give a combination like that over. They instantly go for this double soul lane pairing. Lee Sin can go into the jungle, as every caster and every fan and analyst ever knows, but not a big fan. I don't feel like we've seen it work out. Your slower clear speed doesn't do much. It feels a lot harder to find opportunities in lanes when the enemy team knows exactly what to expect when you are Lee Sin in the jungle.
Yeah, we did see SOFM pick it up, and it was middling, I think is the word I'm looking for there, but we'll see now what FPX want to go for. And then you have two of the best solo laners in the game right now, Nuguri and Doinby. These guys know how to pilot the Akalis or the Lee Sins. They can both use it to their advantage. Doinby hovering over the cloud, we won't talk about it until it's locked in, and then we can jump into it. But on the side of TT, they've gone with this tried and tested Ezreal, and they've also gone with the Rise. So they've, again, just kind of giving themselves options in that split push and ways to deal with something on the side lane, as well as just keeping themselves safe. But FPX do end up locking in the Kai'Sa for LWX, trying to just mitigate that Ezreal. It's kind of seen as a soft counter into the Ezreal.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely do find in the laning phase, right, you'll have push pretty consistently, and then if someone is able to apply Plasma, you are able to follow up with the Killer Instinct once it comes to team fights. But still, I feel like when it comes to one-item power spikes, the Divine Sunder is just still ravaging the game, and Ezreal's just so strong that it doesn't really matter too much. I'd say more of like a soft counter in the sense that you get pressure, but still, even that comes down to, you know, your support matchup can heavily outweigh that. Wouldn't be surprised if we do just get two tank engage supports coming in with the fact that Karma is banned, the enchanter that we do most typically see paired up with the Ezreal. And now I'm wondering where FPX will go on 4, because with bringing out Kai'Sa on 3, that shows that they still did want to keep the ruse that Lee Sin can be a flex pick. I think that was another thing highlighting the Kled did, was like, hey, we can play this in the jungle. TN has a world skin for this. You never know what we're going to do. But, you know, the fact that the enemy has mobility coming out from their AD carry, I'm not sure if I'd be the biggest fan of that. The problem is, not too many big AP junglers left open, and even if you go for them, let's say you bring out something like a Diana, you don't exactly have the setup. You might have too much AP if the enemy team then wants to go opting into a tank support. So if you do want to opt out of this Lee Sin, I think maybe going something standard like the Udyr would be your best bet, which has surprisingly been just taken away as I say it, Penguin. So, you know, my gut tells me we're probably going to get Tien on his world skin Lee Sin.
That would be pretty damn hype. I hope to have you cosplaying as Kobe as best you can with your best awe, and we'll see what we can go for there. We've of course got one last pick to come in for the side of FPX as they do lock in the Rakan. So Rakan, again, something that has been creeping up into the meta a little bit. When you see the likes of the Leonas, the Nautilus is being banned away, they are starting to see a lot more play. I really hope we don't see the Yuumi, because I absolutely despise that champion. They're not a champion, it is an item that gives you a steroid, but they locked in the Alistar. That is my own personal opinion there. I went Rusty on this one. Rusty and I agree that the champion should not exist.
Penguin, I hate that champion. I just want some spice. I want something different coming out from the side of TT, but Alistar makes sense. Sure, Rakan will get pressure against you early, but later on, if Rakan goes for an engage onto you, you can just kind of pulverize him and try and find that all in. Lastly, we're going to see Xiaopeng pull out the famous Nidalee pick. This is Xiaopeng's other go-to along with his Rek'Sai, so you do have a decent amount of poke coming out, but still, I feel like the comp may be slightly disjointed with how it wants to play out as a full 5v5 combo. And FPX just kind of teasing us for now. I think this Volibear actually going to be the likely pick, so going to come out. We aren't going to see the FPX Lee Sin skin in the jungle, at least. You have a very skirmishy, very brawly comp on the FPX side. This one, I think, thematically does go quite heavily together. You know they're going to be diving backline. They don't want to be rushing in. For the side of TT, sure, Alistar provides a bit of disengage, but definitely not enough to combat the amount of divers that FPX has. You have some side lane pressure coming out with Rise Nocturne. You have some pick potential, a bit of dive. It's kind of a... what's that ice cream? It's Neapolitan ice cream. There we go. Has a little bit of everything.
What the hell is Neapolitan
you don't know?
ice cream? Not a clue, mate. You're gonna have to send me a photo of this.
So Neapolitan ice cream is like an ice cream flavor that is a mix of like chocolate, strawberry, and vanilla. I actually think it comes from Italy, but yeah, has a bit of everything. Doesn't over-index into any one area.
I think it's
shame on you.
Neapolitan ice cream. I don't know about that one, but yeah, look, I'll take your word. I heard of Neapolitan pizza. Maybe it comes from the same kind of thing, but regardless, we'll have to wait and see how this one all works out. I can see you very quickly looking towards your side monitors, just kind of saying, how does he? Where is this image? You're gonna send this to him, so he's an idiot. But looking at these two compositions brought in, looking at kind of like everything that's kind of going for, what do you think is going to be the big starting points for these comps? Because I look at it from the side of FPX and I'm thinking level 6s. I'm thinking maybe a skirmish in mid lane if you can get the Volibear in there with the Lee Sin, but other than that, it's going to be pretty much around those level 6 power spikes for FPX.
Oh, definitely. And right, you do have some early skirmishing potential with the Volibear. I think especially in your like topside 2v2s and 3v3s, you will come out extremely strong. Volibear just... You have so many easily to land combos, point, click, CC, AoE damage, as compared to the other jungle and soul lane combos on the side for TT. The one benefit for TT is they should be able to get some prio in mid lane early from the fact that they do have Rise against Akali, and then maybe you can try and enable that into letting Xiaopeng get his advantage. We know he's going to clear faster than Tien, set himself up to be a bigger carry, but to me, when it comes to the mid game is where I look at TT's comp and I'm a bit skeptical in how it plays out. Sure, if it gets ahead, you can look for picks on side. Sure, you can look to invade the enemy jungle, try to combo some things with Longstreet engaging, Patch going in, Xiaopeng and Sam D kiting back, some 1-3-1 setups. But the fact that if a 5v5 engage comes out, I think FPX should solidly win, bearing any like hands difference or misplays. That's what scares me about the drafts coming in.
We'll see how it all pans out. As Doing V now knows that started off with DW, so knows it's going to be slowed down quite a bit. And again, when you pick a Rise in this matchup, the Akali does do fine. Similar to top side for TT for the first few levels at least. Will have prio, will have push, and we'll see what Xiaopeng wants to do with that priority as he does get himself now onto his Krugs, who will have a little bit of a faster clear. Nidalee has got a tiniest bit faster, probably 20 seconds or so than the Volibear does, as they work up towards the top and bot sides respectfully. And I'm curious to see now exactly how Chris able to make this one work. And I love when Rakan's in the meta. I really, really do. I think there's so many ways you can make this champion work so well for your team and just engage, being able to sustain as well as that. And just for lack of a better term, the quickness of which you can actually get, team fights turned around is fantastic. And in LPL, we have quite a few good Rakan players.
Yeah, and he's able to utilize the fact that they have prio to try to, I think, influence the mid lane matchup a little bit. But talking about the mid lane matchup, I do want to hit on that one because I really like that we're seeing a lot of Rises coming in and going with the W start and solo queue. Even in matchups where W start's probably better, you see E. And the thing about W is it brings more base damage level 1, and it pairs better with your mana flow band, to where mana flow band cooldown's about 15 seconds. I think Rise W's around 13, so you can be comboing that to get those stacks very efficiently. And people might think, hey, but W might be more damage, but you can spam E. Sure, Rise might go for an early tier, but you still don't want to be just utilizing your mana bar too early on, going and giving the window for the enemy to look for trades. So very nice start coming out for Ye in the lane, and we also see what we hit on of he is guaranteeing that early prio. So if TT want to opt into playing around towards Xiaopeng around their soul lanes where they do have both of them pushing in, they can look to get some deep vision. They can look to try and take away some camps and start getting Xiaopeng, rolling.
Something I did want to talk to you about a little bit as well. Obviously, might have to stop myself if Xiaopeng finds himself up in this top side. Nuguri on the Lee Sin might be in a little bit of trouble. Does not land the javelin, but does get the flash. Nuguri will have to be even safer now in this top side if he wants to try and survive. He may have to reset. They may look still for the dive. Very difficult though when Longshi doesn't really have the health bar for it.
So I think he was expecting Xiaopeng to throw it behind him because he initially started walking towards the javelin after it was thrown, right? And had to burn the flash because of that. So I think he was predicating it thrown behind, but we're going to have a 2v2. Nuguri doesn't have flash.
No, he doesn't have flash, but underneath the tower! Oh, God damn. Even without his flash, even with all the pressure that TT can put down, they are still able to trade 1-for-1. And for FPX, that's fantastic because the 20 seconds or so I said for the volley bear, it pretty much goes away there, and he gets himself a kill.
And I mean, Nuguri even able to get back, TP in, still be able to catch his wave, so doesn't lose out on that front at all either, with the fact that they aren't able to push it out since Tien's there. But it looked like Xiaopeng thought the damage would have had already come out to secure the Nuguri kill, so he just kind of started pathing backwards. Was, oh god, this hasn't gone down, has to walk back in, hit one more time, and take another turret shot, which allowed for Tien to pick that one up. So flashes blown across the board as LWX.
Yeah, just takes a bit of a harassment.
Is able to get some damage back out onto Patch, but that's because we saw an early back come out from Chris, but Nuguri might be dead again.
Oh, Nuguri, he did not expect the cougar in the bush. And Xiaopeng picks up his second kill of the game. And this is what I like to call a bit of a camping start here up in this top side. And rightfully so, Nuguri has been still a fantastic player in this top side. Was the only one out of the week 1 team of the week to get outside of JDG. And great start here for the side of TT, really putting, doubling down on this top side, making sure this Nocturne has a free lane to push.
And that's the thing, right? Because we were hitting on the clear speed differential coming out between junglers, and it's like, hey, Xiaopeng says, I don't care about that, I'm not about that at all, we're gonna find some lane advantages, just sits up there and continuously punishes Nuguri. And I like what FPX are doing in response, because since Xiaopeng showed on top side, you definitely should look for these early invades around bottom side jungle. But TT did make the adaptation. Patch started hovering up as well because Patch and Sam D were able to find a recall before LWX was. So FPX try to answer. They try to get some vision and some info into the bottom side jungle, but TT with a response as well.
So tilting when you drop down a vision ward, and as soon as you walk away from it, the enemy support just comes over and goes, oh sweet, vision ward, and just completely ruins it. It's like, god damn, I got no value out of that. But we'll see if they want to kind of go for something. Good start, as I said, from the side of TT. And for FBX, Nuguri got to be a little bit careful now. Yes, he's got his Iron Spike whip, but has to be very aware that Xiaopeng has set himself up in that top side before. Might have done it once more time. And it is only about a 600 or 700 gold lead here in favor of TT. And while that's all been happening, Doomby has been slowly but surely trying to just get priority into this mid lane. And with the levels stacking up, you get that level 6, you have the perfect execution. This is where Yi has to really respect the all-in from the Akali.
Still, I think mostly should be fine, unless we do see Tien make a play towards mid. But despite the fact of all the pressure coming out top, Nuguri's been able to stay ahead in farm, so Longshing not able to find those opportunities to send stacked waves or waves into Nuguri's tower. And with the Iron Spike whipped, he will be able to keep finding plays. Doinby, though, might be getting ganked. The E still does hit even when Akali is shrouded, so damage does come out, but not able to set up anything just yet.
Tien's in a lot of trouble. He's going to have to use the Stormbringer, but he's just getting bombarded there by blue balls of and that is just going to be a quick and easy kill using that top lane pressure alongside the paranoia. They secure themselves another kill, and this is starting to get a little scary now for FBX because the kills are starting to rack up against them.
And that's the thing, right? When we came in talking about expectations, we said for FPX, it was trying to challenge at day one where, you got the fastest win of the split. For TT, it's taking it game by game, and that is exactly what TT are doing here. I like the way they approach that of sending Xiaopeng towards the mid lane of, sure, you're looking for a kill, but you're also guaranteeing prio, because you don't necessarily need prio top to get numbers advantage in a topside skirmish, because Longshing will always have the paranoia to be able to answer up on a play against Tian. It didn't matter that Nuguri was technically the one hovering towards the river over Longxing. They were able to pick up those kills, and now they do have that 1k gold lead.
Well, Nuguri is going to jump in now onto Longxing. Will he get the execution? He will, and will flash away, but flashed in on top of him is Xiaopeng. And Xiaopeng is not letting Nuguri run away with this top side.
And that's the thing, is Yes getting engaged on. Nope, actually Penguin, he's not getting engaged on. He almost got engaged on, but not today.
He was engaged upon, but then Patch showed up, and then they could not go for that dive. And you've used the quickness off that, you used the perfect execution, a lot of kind of missed little steps there, a little overcommitment here from the side of FPX. They will be able to get themselves a dragon because of it, because they do see the Nidalee on the top side, but this is, again, very weird and scrappy start here for FPX. Great for TT, though.
Yeah, and the thing I like about what FPX are doing, because, again, great start for TT. I think that one's kind of easy to see, but for FPX, the silver lining is that Nuguri is still getting something every time you make a play top. He's still up in CS. He still's picked up 2 kills. The problem is they're covering over the minimap right now, but Xiaopeng's actually looking topside once again.
I mean, you have got the Paranoia available in the next few seconds if you did want to go for something. And the Rift Herald in the back pocket, so they may just be trying to completely free up this Nocturne. It would make a lot of sense, as we can see Longxing just trying to see if he can push up this wave. Xiaopeng putting a lot of time here. There is a roaming Rise and a Alistair as well. You can see them on your mini-map. With a Realm Warp, they might be able to make something work. But Nuguri, he might feel a little bit threatened. Not sure if he really wants to go for this. As I say that, the Realm Warp comes in. They're going to drop down the Rift Herald to be able to tank up the turret. It's going to be 4 men up in this top side. You have got the Unbreakable as well here. As we can see, there's the Paranoia. He's trying to outplay this one. Nuguri will not be able to do it. And they will get the charge off of Shelly as well. Longxing does flash away to stop tanking that turret as well. First turret goes down, but FBX are here. They're going to try and just get some burgers. Yep, they're going to get themselves a nice, meaty cow to try and set them up onto this fight. The quickness comes in. The flash. Nice knock up there from Crisp. He catches out absolutely everybody. The Stormbringer brings the rain on this parade for TT, and TT will lose 2 after the back of that fight.
Nice coming out from Crisp. So they are going to be able to get 2 in return. I think that the Herald actually ended up getting a second charge on the mini-map, so at least TT got that as well. But I want to go back and highlight that the plays coming out from TT are so nice, especially from Patch. Patch has been a player who I've been extremely critical on personally, because I've been watching a lot of the games, and like his roam timings have been very awkward. He's not a support who typically, when he comes from base, is pairing with the jungle or pairing towards mid. We're going to go into the replay of the follow-up onto TT. I mean, I like the way Chris follows up on Duinbi's engage on the Akali, right? It lets him traverse all that distance to get the double CC coming out. So that's FPX's response to TT doing a great job of utilizing their tempo to make those plays. And it goes back to the segment we had before the game of FPX having these really off reads and like utilizing their tempo really poorly, to where you saw all of TT path towards the mid lane. You're not answering plays on bot. You're still hovering around. I think you're afraid of walking into your own jungle because Tien needs to go for a reset, but it makes it so you're answering that play on top side so late, Nuguri goes down no matter what.
Yeah, and again, this is, again, a testament to how we talked about TT as well. This is a team that have shown very nice glimmers of hope, have shown very nice silver linings, despite losing 0-2 in all of their series so far. You know, it has been, you know, they've been against the best of the best, and it just hasn't really kind of solidified for them in a win, but they have had options. They have had moments of just pure brilliance, and Xiaopeng now has got the Sheen in the back pocket along with the Night Harvester and 4 kills. He's looking to just completely keep pushing down this FBX top laner. Nuguri maybe in a little bit of trouble. Will not get hit up by the spear. They are going to put down the Changeling Smite. They're not going to be able to get him just yet, but there's nowhere for you to go here. You have to die, and that's going to be the 5th kill for Xiaopeng. And I guess the game plan, if you will, from the side of TT is keep Nuguri down.
I mean, Kelsey Moser is, you know, rising up somewhere as Xiaopeng is completely taking over. TT gonna pick up their first win. Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, but that point is Xiaopeng is a monster, and, you know, there are some people who enjoy TT, ironically or unironically.
Yeah, I think there's a lot you can like about this team, similar to Rogue Warriors and Ice Coke. I think the big thing we can say about these teams, their junglers have got a lot of potential. Their junglers are doing a lot for their team, as now we see TT moving into this river, pushing down their vision, getting rid of as much of FPX's. And we're starting to see the first few items come out. Divine Sunderer for the Ezreal, as well as for the Volibear. You also got the Luden's Tempest here for so he's actually moving towards that more burst-orientated style of the Rise we have seen a couple of times. Do normally see it with the Conqueror to be able to kind of burn down these big health bars, but has gone out with the Phase Rush as well. So curious to see how that one will go for him, as we can see now the source of gold here for the side of... or the source of power, I should say, for the side of TT is very much Xiaopeng and these spears. He's going to be the guy. If he can land one or two of these, along with a couple of Mystic Shocks from Sam D, these fights will go well for the side of TT.
Yeah, it's kind of nice to see them find an avenue into having a win condition, right? To where if you can't just snowball a player out of control by chain ganking like he was doing, it now comes in where for players like Nuggery, it's going to be very awkward for having to jump onto the back line. But Doumbé might find a solo kill.
He does find a solo kill, easy as you like. They were not expecting the Akali lane swap as Dragon was spawning. There is a TP for Doumbé as well, so he's able to recall, get a bit of gold spent into his pocket, and also set himself up to try and be here for this Dragon fight. No paranoia available just yet, about 15 seconds away. Xiaopeng might just try and go for the steal. Going to be very, very difficult unless he lands a spear to get that executed. And in the end, it is going to be FPX setting themselves up onto second Drake of the game.
And I love that TT opt out of doing that, right? Like, no reason to throw away the small gold advantage that you have over trying to contest a Drake where you don't have your top laner. So they don't do that. FPX are up to Drakes. It is going to be a Mountain Rift, so they do have that availability of playing towards Soul. They are getting resources on the bottom side of the map right now, as we do see Nuggery just kind of waiting in the wings. And it looks like they want to bring some of the cheekiness that TT have been doing, right? We see that Longxing's walking down. Oh, Nuggery's here.
Oh, no. Everybody's here. Nuggery and, of course, Crisp. And you, sir, have been baited and outsmarted. FPX looking to try and drag back this slight gold lead to be an equal footing. And I like that a lot from the side of FPX. Saying, all right, you want to try and play this kind of game of pick and, catch the mouse or whatever it is for them. We're going to play the exact same style as we see Rift Herald being dropped and get a charge into that mid lane. But while that's been happening, with 3 people bot and 2 people mid, it means that this tier 2 will fall in favor of TT, and that lane becomes that little bit longer.
Yeah, TT just opting into playing towards the top side of the map, right? They knew that Longxing was coming up. They head up there, so FPX say, hey, we're going to stay down towards the bottom side. They give over the Rift Herald. And with the fact that Nuggery did make that cheeky play, it allowed for Ye to be able to pick up that turret. So once again, as our observers are showing, all eyes are on Doumbé. 2-0-1 on the Akali. Already picked up the solo kill this game. And it feels like that's been the player we've been looking at in most FPX series. Not even this split, but I'd say even in the past 2 years. Ever since FPX won Worlds, I feel like we've been looking a lot at Doumbé to be that big force. And when FPX have won a lot of their games, it is always him leading them to that. I'm expecting we get the pro view in the solo kill as well. Putting the brush, lands the E into the E2Q. And I mean, just nice job. He's getting multiple procs of his passive as well, so... We're going to see a Longxing's punished here, Penguin.
Yeah, not really a lot that Longxing could do here. He thought he could get the damage down, but the heal was enough to keep the Kai'Sa just alive enough. And yeah, Longxing is having as good of a game, I suppose, as Nuggery. It's the fact that Nuggery's got the 2 kills in the back pocket, whereas Longxing has absolutely none. That's what we're going to be... It's not really his job to be able to kind of 100-0 backlines. That's pretty much we now know with the Lich Bane picked up so damn early by Xiaopeng. That's his job. So when Paranoia gets dropped, it's basically to try and burn as much as they possibly can on the side of FPX and then open up the backline for the likes of Sam D, Ye, or Xiaopeng to be able to make something happen. But with 2 minutes and 15 seconds until this dragon spawns, we won't really see any crazy shenanigans happening just yet. Doumbé up on this top side does not have a TP, but the rest of FPX are here to try and just secure this tower. But by getting this, you will lose a lot of pressure towards the spot and even potentially towards the mid. So TT trying to answer back for what will be a 1 tower advantage in this play for FPX.
I like what Nuggery's doing on the opposite side of the map, though, where he's picking up Wolves, preventing Xiaopeng from being able to steal away that one. But TT using their tempo from rotating more members from bot because they still haven't picked up that turret right. Instead, they're going to opt into taking the turret in mid. Now, someone on the side of TT is going to go have to answer Nuggery's push. So, not Nuggery, I'm sorry, Doinby's push. So, resets are going to have to come out. And I still remember when we first saw Doinby's Akali come out last split, where FPX drafted, I think everyone expected it to go into the hands of Nuggery, and Doinby pulled off an amazing performance. And he also did get that solo kill, solo dive in mid lane. Oh, yeah, pulls it off. But, yeah, point is, Doinby on Akali is a monster. And ever since they've changed your ult to now, not have mixed damage ratios and only have an AP ratio, feels really nice for those executes once you get some items.
Yeah, it does feel like you have a lot more early game or early to mid game kind of control over how you want your damage to kind of go down. It's even when building relatively defensively, as we do see the Zonya's finally picked up here for Doinby. He's on that 2-item spike. Still, good opportunities here for the side of TT to try and keep FPX down. They've done a good job so far, and in 35 seconds that Dragon's going to be spawning. You will have Doinby's TP available, and you can see TT hovering around this side, keeping Nocturne towards the bot lane, but they might have snuck themselves in. FPX, no, they've been spotted. They have been... The mission has been compromised, as we do see now the TP coming in for Doinby. The quickness, Xiaopeng might be in a lot of trouble. The paranoia is really, really good just to try and stop this Akali from getting on top of the Nidalee, but it will not stop enough. We will see a trade of 2 for 1. The Akali was all that she wanted was that Nidalee. Doinby only wanted Xiaopeng, and with no jungler and your most fed member, FBX should be able to put themselves on the soul point.
I mean, Longxing was able to find LWX, but at the end of the day, Doinby is the force to be reckoned with on the side of FPX. He finds his way into the backline, and I mean, Xiaopeng just getting caught off guard initially, chunked down to like 20% HP, so never even able to be part of the fight, try to chuck out some spears and get a massive amount of damage down. And now FPX are suddenly on soul point.
Out of nowhere, FBX from a, I wouldn't say disastrous early game, but definitely disastrous for the top side. And Xiaopeng being so far ahead. I love the target selection from Doinby. He knows exactly who he needs to go for, and he just keeps pushing to it right now. This was actually pretty good from Longxing, realizing that the paranoia will stop Xiaopeng from being caught out completely, but just not respecting the fact that there's so many gap closes there for the Akali.
And FPX also timed it nicely, where Doinby's TP just came up when that play was being made. I'm still not quite sure how Xiaopeng was hit into the members of FPX, because, right, and originally they did use their scrying orb to spot out that the members of FPX were right there.
Curious little things, and again, little small moments like that do separate the top teams from the bottom teams. TT very much at the bottom right now, 0-3 in the standings, and maybe looking at 0-4 if they can't take any kind of, solace from this. They are equal on golds. Their 2,000 gold lead or so, or 1,000 gold lead is very much gone now, and they have to fight in 4 minutes time. They have to be there to be able to contest for this Mountain Soul, and that's exactly what FBX want. If you're running into FBX with the likes of a Volibear, a Rakan, like, these things can 100% abuse that fact and just punish you so effectively.
I don't know. Right now we see TT trying to bait a fight in the mid lane. They might have found one, but I think Tien should be fine.
Oh, he should be fine.
More than fine.
Call an ambulance, but not for me. As FPX just try and turn this one around. That being said, the damage dealers here from TT are still very, very healthy. The Rise with two. Where's that ambulance? I told you to call one. As FPX do end up losing 2, and that is going to be a nice turnaround play. It was kind of I thought, as they look and try and just get this one now, and TT looking to try and just get themselves back into some forward momentum.
And TT are starting to build up another big member on their side, right? Yeah, 3-0-3 on the Rise, getting massive. Now having the Seraphs on top of the Luden's Tempest. So a lot of power is going to come out from this roster. If you get close to them and you aren't able to decisively burst them out, right? If you give them time to layer that poke, to layer that damage, to cut you out with multiple members, FPX will just be taken down, and Pat's doing a nice job so far being the front line as well, too. Even when those engages do come out, they're able to turn around fights like we just saw.
Yep, and again, this is exactly what we wanted to see from Patch. We specifically said we were very critical of him. He was very much not having a good time on the roster, or at least not having good games. And we wanted to see improvement. We wanted to see him kind of like move on forward from this. And here, he just starts off and engaged, and it does feel like it's kind of bad as the Ezreal just get completely bursted out. But great consistent damage here, and Patch just keeps chasing down.
And then just all the members of TT are able to get here first, right? Sure, it might be a 4v4 at this point, but you still have your cooldowns up because you use your cooldowns as FPX to catch out Sam D. Doinby, the only strong member of your team, was not here in the play to try to find any of those executes or assassinations onto Ye or Xiaopeng. So right now for TT, we're looking at the top side of the map. Sure, Longxing might be 5 deaths, but he's also been involved in all 9 of the plays thus far. So him even surprisingly being on 2 items and keeping up with Nuguri, who is almost 40 CS up.
Yeah, it is a very positive sign here for TT fans all around the world. I think it's just Kelsey Moser, but still, it is a nice situation to see. And now it's becoming a little bit of a race to the bottom, a race to kind of get your items as such. And we see now 3 items for the Rise. Got that Banshee's Veil, so a little bit of safety. You've got the Frozen Heart going to be finished up here relatively soon for Sam D. And on the other side, you've got the makings of an Infinity Edge to add to that Phantom Dancer and Kraken Slayer. You've also got a Banshee's Veil here for the Akali. There is a lot of different power spikes going to be coming in, and I feel like everyone's going to be trying to get to those power spikes before they take another big fight to make sure they come out on top.
Yeah, and TT are consciously giving up the top side of the map, saying, hey, we don't necessarily need to go answer this Akali right now. Trying to look for a numbers advantage play on the bot side where they can find and engage and win out, especially with the fact that Dragon's up in 25 seconds and this would be sold for FPX. TT know, hey, we need to lose a few waves top side to secure the advantage and secure this Dragon.
Well, Doomby did just recall. Now looking to try and maybe join in this fight. There is one ward just to the back of a Dragon Pit that TT have yet to really sweep away. It will be timing out relatively soon, but Doomby's already here, so the flank isn't really what they're looking for right now. But the Dragon is. Dragon has been started by FBX. TT, you need to stop this. You need to make sure that this does not go into the hands of FBX. I say that they're going to go for the engage. The paranoia has been in. The stopwatch has been used there by Chris as he tries to use the quickness to try and create some kind of disengage. But no, they haven't been able to do it. TT are turning this one around. TT are saying, we'll take the fight. Akali does find Xiaopeng, but it is going to be Ye who finds the return on that one. It is a 3-for-1 in favor of TT. Doinby can only do so much, and with no jungler on either side, it's going to be TT stopping this Dragon stack.
And that one was so unfortunate. As Crisp was going in, I think he got hit by one of Xiaopeng's spears because he was instantly like 10% HP. I think he popped his stopwatch, comes out of that one, and he's pretty much just taken out. So it was instantly a numbers advantage for the side of TT, and their members were able to kite it back. Sam D didn't feel any threat during that fight. Ye was doing a nice job of taking care of members like Nuguri and Tien, and FPX coming out from base are going to walk right into TT.
Oh, we might see another engage. Xiaopeng is a ways away. There is no TP here for Nuguri, so he'll also be coming out of base. And the call seems to be kind of float around this Baron. You still have a little bit of gold to spend if you're on the side of TT, and they're going to go ahead and do just that. They're going to reset, made sure that the side of FBX were not doing themselves a Baron, and then get themselves a little bit of vision control to be back on the map.
So we're going to see them go for the engage. Like I said, Crisp chunked out absolutely immediately. Does go for the stopwatch right there. And we see Longxing doing a good job of taking the Kai'Sa out of the play. Sam D just able to kite out Tien. And Doinby spending the whole time chasing around Xiaopeng. Xiaopeng might be the most fed member of the team, but Sam D and Ye are no slouches at this point at all.
No, they are not. Sam D has finally got his 3-item spikes, and you get that extra 100 AD when you build off the Frozen Heart when you get onto the Ezreal. So he's just absolutely smashing you and has extra mana, has extra defenses. You know, it just becomes so difficult to really burn him down in a fight. Not only that, speaking of defenses, Xiaopeng's got himself a Zhonya's now. So even if Doinby finds himself on the backside, even if he does get on top of Xiaopeng, there is a way for him to be able to delay so the rest of his team can get up and get him to get back into a defensive position. So 3,000 gold lead, or 2,500 gold lead here for TT, and they've stopped the Dragons from stacking, and it does feel like in these fights, at least the last few of them, that a TT are the ones in the ascendancy.
Yeah, TT are doing a nice job of, right, they are just kind of threatening FPX. It's actually weird thinking about that fight, right? Because actually TT weren't even the ones on the objective. They were just afraid of getting poked out by the Nidalee and Ezreal, but FPX engaged into them, and when you engage into them, you enable a lot of the power of Sam, D, Xiaopeng, and Yetta come out, right? We know Ezreal loves to kite back. The problem with Ryze in teamfights is that you are a very low-range mage. You have a ton of DPS with your abilities, but running forward and putting that out is very hard and very awkward. But if the enemy team's running into you, and they're giving you that ability to lay down all your DPS, you're going to perform wonderfully.
And again, it's like what I talked about. I feel like both sides are going to be trying to race towards those items, kind of get those finished up items to make a difference in these fights. In terms of late game scaling, it's very similar across the board. It's kind of who gets the better of a fight, who gets the better of an advantage with whichever one they go for. There is still a cheeky ward to the side of the pit here, so the side of FPX will know that this objective is going down, but it is going down very, very fast. Everyone's kind of here now. Tien is eventually there. Xiaopeng tanked up a little bit more than he probably wished to. Will pick up himself up a little bit of honey fruit, or lettuce for some reason that hysterics like to call it, even though they're literally nothing like lettuces at all. But now FPX have themselves a little bit of an advantage in this mid side. They've got the push. They may look to try and just clear all of this vision from the side of TT and maybe start the Baron themselves.
Right now, just clearing vision. I don't think they want to put themselves in a terrain where they are focused into a small area with all the damage able to come out from TT. And TT can very easily pull the trigger on an engage, right? Paranoia with Patch running in as well. So they're going to use the fact that FPX had to answer vision control to get the track onto mid lane. They're not going to be able to hit the turret, but they are going to deny some gold from the side of FPX.
We'll be able to force them away and kind of back towards that defense of the turret. Minute until that dragon spawns, and you can see the TT, they need to kind of figure out what they want to do right now. Do they want to go for the dragon, or they want to go for the Baron? It looks like the call right now is they want to go for this dragon instead, but they're a bit early for that rotation, and that's where they see like the likes of FBX is they are never one to shy away from just doing a straight up trade, get a quickie Baron, and just try and punish you for trying to, you know, maybe stop the soul.
Yeah, and FPX right now, having something like that in mind, at least going to go get vision down on the top side of the map. Ooh, though, the Ryze Realm Warp into the Baron played a play we've seen 100 times.
Tien is in the pace. He's not here for the steal just yet, but you have what doing B as we see the Paranoia going down. The blast, the kick is going to be enough to get him into the pit. It's going to be enough. Oh, it's all Doomby. And Doomby gets it, but it is going to be the Baron going over to the side of TT. But at what cost? They're going to lose absolutely everybody in this fight. Even Patch will be turned into mincemeat at the end. And oh, TT, it was going so well. It was all ahead of you, and you just got a bit of trigger happy. And it just wasn't enough for you to be able to stop this FPX trade. As you can see, Nuggery, you're not going to be able to turn him into mincemeat. I lied, but that's going to be Baron. Baron goes over to the side of TT, but it doesn't matter because that's going to be Soul and the fight for FPX.
I mean, the LPL Baron strikes again. TT looking for that Realm War play. Tien going for that back. They had numbers, but they all funneled into that small space up against FPX's composition. We saw the amount of damage they were able to layer down onto multiple members. Yeah, and Sam D not even getting a chance to play, output their DPS. And it's like, sure, okay, you now have Baron on Alistar, but like you said, Soul going over towards FPX, I don't think that makes this game a wash by any means. We've seen a lot of games in LPL this split where the team with Soul against a team that does have like good scaling and good positioning in team fights, like it doesn't matter, that team can definitely win and come out ahead. But we're gonna see here instantly. Oh my god, that kick from Nuggery was beautiful. Sets up the W coming out from Crisp. And then the damage dealer just easily able to line in. Beautiful multi-man CC coming out.
I was wondering how everyone was just kind of CC'd, how the kick hit that distance of length, really, and that's how it was. Able to get the animation off as the flash is coming in, and it sets up everything. That kick was everything for FBX. If they don't get that to knock up multiple members, it means the TT can react, and we're going to see a negative 2,000 gold Baron power play, which means it's a negative 3,500 gold in favor of FBX, and they finally got themselves back into a gold lead. They have themselves 1,000 gold. They got themselves the Mountain Soul. Like you said, not the the be all and end all in the world, but it does mean that the likes of Nuguri and Doonby can be a little bit more aggressive. Hell, even LWX can be a little bit more aggressive, as they have got that little extra HP to jump back in.
I mean, the best 2-6 Lee Sin I ever did see, Penguin. And it goes back to what we hit on earlier, right? Sure, he might have been getting heavily focused and obviously going down pretty consistently, but almost every time, Nuguri found a window to where, okay, I pick up a kill, or the wave's set in a position where he's not losing out on CS. He's been making an impact in these fights and skirmishes, and that is what you expect out of the most recent world champion. Now FPX going to start getting vision control up towards top side, get some deep wards in enemy jungle, maybe hope they can find some picks, but TT gonna do a good job of just trying to control the side lanes with these Ryze. So now the onus is on FPX trying to find some sort of engage, but TT aren't giving it to them.
Not just yet, but Doonby 603. Again, we highlighted how damn important this guy is. Full build now. Pretty much just the boots, and it's one of those few things that the boots is actually fantastic onto mid laners, so you do not want to be getting rid of that pen, but just so much work being done by this guy. And again, you mentioned it as well at the start of the series. The Akali is something that Europe has found a lot of success on. It seems to be creeping into the meta quite a lot into LPL. And this is something that the likes of Doonby have just been able to just pop off on. And it really is impressive. And it's really why every single time FPX have a bad game, bad start, whatever it is, this is the man we look to bring them out of that slump.
The combination of the first picks coming out from LEC and then Cream being here in the LPL and showing everyone, hey, doesn't matter, Akali, Kiana, LeBlanc, I play it all, it's all possible. It's making teams realize the priority of this champion, how much it's able to do, the time it's able to buy, and FPX so far utilizing it quite well. I've been punishing a lot of TT's mistakes, but still, I don't feel like FPX have an easy way of breaking down TT's base, right? They're a very melee-heavy composition. You only have a Kai'Sa who's a very short-ranged AD carry. You have pretty decent wave clear coming out from TT's side, especially with the Ryze at this point, who now has his death cap as well. You need to pull TT out of the base to find your pick to start that snowball to ending the game, to where TT feel fine just waiting this out, maybe punish an overextension or look for a side lane play as they're posturing for now, and then try to turn that into where you can pick off more members and look for a win. So my guess, maybe these next 2 minutes, we could even go without any kills going down, and it just coming to where TT have to leave their base, and TT and FPX are going to fight over Elder. Whoever comes out with that probably wins.
And honestly, like, again, coming back to what we discussed at the top of the series, is that this is not where we expected to be in game one. This is not where we want, like, where anyone who's a fan of FPX wanted to be coming into game one. This was supposed to be a stomp. This is supposed to be FPX kind of shrugging off LNG's loss and saying, okay, look, it happened, but we can just, dismantle this TT team and come back into it. And now TT, they're competitive. They're getting to the point that Sorelda's grudge being finished up there by the Ezreal means that they have ways of coming back into it. So you have 5 items onto your Nocturne, the 1/6 Nocturne, best Lee Sin, 2/6 Lee Sin, best 1/6 Nocturne I've ever seen, and this is kind of getting a little bit scary. So regardless of result for TT, I think you can be very proud of how you performed, but you're so close now. You do not want to be going in with a defeatist attitude. You want to take this win. Baron is live. They're going to try and use it as a go button, try and jump it onto the backside. They may have found a kill. They have found the Ryze. That is a huge amount of damage no longer available here, but TT still have the Ezreal. TT still have Xiaopeng. TT still have ways of getting this. This Kai'Sa is doing so much onto this backside. His patch just about stays alive, but I can't say the same for his top laner. Everyone jumping in, jumping out. This Ezreal is getting damage. This Ezreal is still doing damage. Sam D, we know he can pop off. He's trying to sustain. He's trying to get it. No!
He misses!
If that Q lands, he's able to take it, but not quite today. And now Nuguri trying to fight off this Xiaopeng Nidalee. You still have the Akali, you still have the Kai'Sa, and Xiaopeng now realizes he got the GA, but he has absolutely nowhere to go. He can't get over the wall, and TT tried their best, but they just didn't have enough in the tank. FPX will take Elder. They'll probably transition that immediately into a Baron, and we should see the start of the end for TT in game 1.
And that was so tragic for TT. The rise off to the side over the wall. FPX quickly realized, hey, this guy's dead. Let's all funnel onto him. They have the numbers advantages. We're going to see here. Yeah, going to the opposite side of the fight. Instantly, the engage comes out from FPX. TT almost pull it back. Sam D doing a ton of work. Long Xing finds his way onto the backline as well, and he's extremely tanky at this point. And the front line doing such a good job of just buying space. Nidalee Spears coming off the back end. Constant Mystic shots coming out. And Sam D was trying to make a hero moment out of this. He's going to E over the wall. We thought maybe he could do it, but he's going to miss one crucial Mystic shot here.
Oh.
He probably still would have died, obviously, but I don't know how close to cooldown like his E would be at this point with the amount of ability ace he has in his build to be able to try to find like more ways to deal DPS. But overall, your extremely fed and strong Rise got picked up before he was able to do absolutely anything. TT paid for it, and now FPX having the two most valuable objectives in the game.
That's the thing as well. Imagine the Rise doesn't die there. Imagine that is a 5v5, because it was effectively a 5v4 right from the get-go, and TT were still able to make it so close, and full items pretty much across the board for them in top lane, mid lane, bot lane. Everyone's got everything filled up to the brim. This is where, you know, the side of TT, they just kind of have to weather the storm. They just got to try and make sure they don't lose too much, stem the bleeding just a little bit. The gold lead means effectively nothing at this stage. It is about 7,000, but it doesn't mean anything at all at this stage. And you've got your fully upgraded items pretty much for your AD carries. You're just waiting for that last half item there for Yi on this Rise, which you'll pretty much be able to get before the next fight. And in 40 seconds, this Elder's gone, and we go back to a kind of a very even game state. So for FPX, they're going to look to try and force the issue right here, right now.
Yeah, and LWX being a little bit spicy with the engage. TT do have a ton of poke, but poking through these Baron minions is going to be quite hard. FPX are going to be the ones angling for an engage. They only have one more turret to get on the bottom side of the map. We expect the FPX members to start hovering there so Nuguri can find it. TT are probably going to be forced into an engage, or FPX will just take their base.
Yeah, there's going to be the third inhibitor of turret falling. As we see now, the turret's being turned off in the Nexus, and that's going to be a quickness on top of who gets caught again. He's dead. There's enough of an Elder Drake for the next 2 or 3 seconds to be able to finish off these kills, and they will finish the game. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't easy, but FPX come out on top in this game and take a 1-0 series, and you can see it on their faces there. They are not happy with that performance.
No, definitely not, right? I mean, Doinby especially looking so frustrated. The whole team, I guess, looking just very upset with how that game went, as they should be. TT almost coming out with a win, finding a massive advantage early on, and even in the late game where it's like, sure, FPX started to find ways to come back in. Had it not been for, like, getting caught out, over the wall and just opening that opportunity for FPX, that could have been a fight that TT would win with, in hindsight, how we saw the rest of it play out without him. So for TT, this is obviously terrible, does not look good. I think it's still nice they're putting up they're putting up a fight. They're showing signs of life. They're showing, hey, there are pieces that can come together. Long Xing not really performing, but still having a big impact despite being so far down. That was really the story of both top laners. And then Xiaopeng, as always, the one pushing TT ahead. You have Sam D trying to do his best being that damage dealer later on. And then, for quite a while was doing such a good job, but in the end wasn't able to close it down. And for FPX, I mean, Doinby and Crisp, I think especially, are the big talking points for me. And then even Nuguri's kick, though, right? The kick that brought them back into the game, that got that multi-man knockup, it sets up for all the AoE. It was just beautiful.
Yeah, it really was. But like I said, for FPX, you can see it there on the goal graph. They needed to dig deep for this game. And I think the big thing is that, I always hear it whenever you watch, the NFL or the Premier League or anything like that, is that what's the difference between a good team and a great team is that a great team, even when playing badly, will still come out with a win. That's the big difference there. And I think that's very, very, very big testament to FPX, that despite that they had issues, Tien very much, I honestly didn't really look amazing on the volley bear in those later game team fight, or the mid game team fights, excuse me. me. LWX wasn't having the same kind of impact he wanted. It was down to just kind of digging deep, doing B off of the back of so many just like little bit of plays, able to stop the pacing from TT, able to find Xiaopong saying, no, you can't go for this fight, you can't go for this dragon, you can't go for this Baron, I've taken away your jungler. And again, glad for FPX fans that they got the win, but they're not going to be happy with how they got the win.
I do want to say, though, it is a very underrated skill in League of Legends to be able to play from behind. If you're ever like on a team or work team side, I'd say like 90% of your discussions are about like, oh, like it's how you shouldn't fall behind. Like, oh, you should have played like this in this area so you didn't fall behind. It's very rare or very minimal, the discussions like, okay, well, when you're behind, you get these defensive wards, or like you turtle like this, or, you know, you have to approach areas you don't control in this way. So a very underrated skill in League of Legends. And that's why it is still nice when we see our top teams be able to come back on the brink, because it is a skill where, especially once we get towards things like Worlds, right? And you have to play against some of the other best teams in the world, like Dom 1, as we saw RNG go up against. You're not always going to get the lead. You're still going to need to be able to find a way to win, to pull out that win, to, you know, like be the best team there is.
Yeah, and you don't know how you're going to be able to do that unless you practice it. And it's, you know, if anything from scrim cultures of in the West is to be believed, and, you know, very difficult to know if you can do that. But a win is a win, as it is, unfortunately, for TT. They will fall 0-1 in this series. FPX looking to try and maybe screw up a couple of loose ends in that early game as we go into game 2. We're going to send it to a quick break, and when we return, picks and bans will be right around the corner.